And I'm like, oh, this thing can do it. That's not a problem. And so I went about figuring out how you can have an SER turn on and off with the phase of the 110. And so you can dim the lights and bring them back up. And I got that to work. And thanks to John McPhailin over here, um, I was able to use his DMX object to make that happen. The other part about that is he put an article in Nuts and Bolts magazine on how you can sit there and create a set of accumulators that will count and then turn it on. And I took that, even though it wasn't for the propeller, the stub of that was enough for me to figure out, okay, this is how I can make this work with the propellers. Just have it sit there, and whenever the counter rolls over, it's time to turn on, and you just copy over the value of the DMX in there. And whenever you have your rollover, turn the SCR on, and it all worked really great. Um, that was in 2010. And I went from having just 15 channels that I could turn on and off to 96 different strings of light that I could turn on and off. And had a big Christmas tree in the middle of the yard that had it had 4 different colors of lights on it and 16 different strands around it. So I could make it spin and change color and do all kinds of cool stuff with it. And from there, I continued on with like these custom boards that I built for it. I could build the boards cheaper and use the propeller to make it all go, then I could buy it somewhere. And it's like, if I'm going to make this scale, which, obviously anyone that does Christmas lights and is committed, they want people to be able to see it from space. That is what you want. And that was the directive given by my wife. And I think we have now made that happen. But I scaled that thing out as far as I could. We moved from a 1/4 acre lot to a 5 acre lot out in the country. And from where my house is to about 2.5 acres forward in an acre square to the road is where the display goes now. And we filled that out with, just all kinds of crazy things, like taking tomato tree cages or tomato cages, wrapping those with Christmas lights, different colors of Christmas lights, and turning those things on and off. And what I wound up running up against with that was I am now budget constrained on power. I was pulling 50 amps to everything in the front yard. There was no place to go. It was 44 amps is where I got to. And I'm like, well, I can't add anything. We're going to start having problems. I have a 50 amp outlet on the outside of the house to drive all of that. And I have a power distribution system that I'll put out in the front yard to run it all. It's like, okay, we're going to have to go over to these LEDs. Well, the thing that I learned was Christmas LEDs are terrible. I mean, they are not, they break, water intrusion gets in there, and they're not durable. So let's look at these pixel things. All right, pixel things, they seem like they work pretty good. Well, those controllers were very expensive. The first controller I got was a 16 channel controller that could drive, many LEDs, just 16 outputs. But it was a $1,200 controller. That you can't scale at $1,200 a controller and 16 outputs. So I didn't want to go the wireless route with the cheap little throwaway microcontrollers that barely keep up with trying to get Wi-Fi data in them, and they fall over. You got to reboot them. I need something that's going to be stable. So I looked at the P2. It was about the time the P2 come out, and whenever one of the Rev A boards come out, I'm like jumped all over that. It's like, okay, we're gonna figure out how to make this thing work. And it took a few years for me to get there. But what I wound up doing with that is I transitioned from DMX to streaming ACN, which is DMX over Ethernet, and created this system using the P2. It has 24 outputs on it. It has Ethernet in. It boots off of SD card. I don't have to program these. I go get my image that I build and place out on the internet. I grab that zip file, unzip it, I put it on the SD card, drop the SD card inside of the P2, and power it on. and it boots up. It looks for a DHCP server. It gets DHCP'd. I go in, I configure it for whatever static IP address I want through a web interface. These have a web server on them, and from there you move forward. If I need to upgrade them, I have a page on there that goes out and looks. Hey, is there an upgrade available for me? Press the button. So it's like the past couple of Christmases, I unpack all these things, put them out in the yard, and any improvements that I've made over the year, I go to each one individually. I press the button. Yep, that one needs an upgrade, and I upgrade it. Which is kind of nice because you're not going out there with a prop plug and updating them all individually. You just do it remotely, and it's not a big deal. So I'll go through this presentation a little bit. These are the softwares that I use to run this. I use Vixen, X-Lights, and Jinx. The presentation that I'm showing you right here is Jinx. And what Jinx does is it allows you to put text and different effects that are built into it, up on matrices. The nice thing about this is it's all standardized protocols using streaming ACN, which is standard. Any type of industrial light control that goes across Ethernet, most likely that's what they're going to use. They're going to use that or ArtNet, one of those two. This was streaming ACN was the one that's put out by the same organization that did DMX. That's why I chose that over ArtNet. But these are free softwares. You can get more expensive softwares. You can get any of the desktop lighting consoles that you would have at a concert or anything can output to that guy right there because it's using a standardized protocol. So let me show you up on the screen here. This is my house. And if you take a look at the top right-hand corner, you can see the scale of this thing. So that little dot kind of in the top right-hand corner over there, that's my house. And the rest of the yard is out front. Those arches that you see out front there, those are 16 feet in length or 15 feet in length. All the way across the yard, I think is like 112 feet is how wide those are. And you can see all of the different lights, all the different fixtures. They're often called props, believe it or not. They go out there. In the bottom right-hand corner, you can see what the rendered of the sequence looks like at the bottom, and above that's what the photograph of that same time sequence is on a video that I took. That candy cane effect you see right there is actually a moving effect that moves across the entire yard. And those types of effects are great with X-Lights because it has the ability to know where in three-dimensional space where all of your fixtures are, and will render that and send it out to where all of your props are. It allows you to recreate whatever wherever you set these up. You take a picture and you can redo it in three-dimensional space and have it render the way that you want it to look, or set a specific perspective as to how you want it to look. The whole house effects are super neat. I don't know, to give you a sense of scale with that, if you see the things on kind of each side of the house that are hanging, they're lights that look like they're hanging, those are 14 inches tall. And they just look like little blips on the on the screen there. But all of this is ran by P2s using the Blitzen controller, or several Blitzen controllers. And the largest item that I'm currently driving right now, I believe, is the arches and the props that I have associated with those. Each of those are running like almost right at about 4,000 pixels for the arches. and the spinners that sit under the tree or that sit under the arches, and there's some trees that go in there as well. Um, on the right hand side, you'll see where there's a thing that shows Wi-Fi. So I only have one Wi-Fi item that I use in the whole display. Everything else is wired Ethernet. And that's actually the thing that I have here. And believe it or not, I'm not connected. I brought the piece, but I don't have it connected to Wi-Fi. Uh, but this is my fence controller, and I have 500 feet of fence that has 2,000 pixels across that fence. And the pixels are just laid out, sitting on top of the fence, and the controller sits right in the middle and connects to Wi-Fi across the across from it where I have Ethernet distribution configured out in the yard, and it just works. That was one of the complaints that I had with the $1,200 controller that I bought. Every 2 weeks, I'd have to reboot it. I'd get a call from my wife. Hey, I just got home and none of the Christmas lights are working. I'm like, oh, okay. Power cycle it. And, she'd have to go power cycle it. We'd have to fool with it. I don't have to power cycle the P2 or this software. It doesn't have memory leaks. You don't have all of those big, extra libraries full of just junk, making it work that you have no idea what it is. It's all very consistent and is completely reliable. I've had these systems stay up. I had one almost make it a year before lightning struck it. And that was kind of a fun time trying to get all that squared away. But yeah, here's a up close picture of like the spinners and the arches and the matrix that I have in the center. The matrix that I have in the center right there, that's 3,500 LEDs. What you see right here is 1,920 LEDs. And so it's actually twice as dense as what I have here, and smaller. It's more compact than what I have here. It is 8 feet wide, but it's only 4 feet tall, whereas this is 6 feet tall. And so it gets really dense, and it looks good. I mean, it looks like television almost. From a distance, it does look like television. I've had people ask how do you just leave the TV sitting out in the front yard because they don't realize how large the thing is, But it's been a great project to work on, and going through and with all of the features that were available on the P2 and trying to take advantage of those. It's been incredible. There's a lot of things I could probably do better. I'm not really using any smart pens for any of this. It's bit banging all of it. The Ethernet driver, I think, was the most difficult thing that I had to do. That and hardware bugs. So and thank you, Chip, for telling me about whenever you are sending out a lot of data, you might want to dial down the output a little bit and setting those pin configurations. And that softened the edges and got rid of a lot of glitching that was occurring in the controller. A lot of help from like everyone on the Parallax forums, and without John and his code, this wouldn't happen. I took his pixel output driver and hacked it to pieces. What I wound up doing is making it so that it could drive 8 lines instead of 1. And that allowed me to scale to a massive amount of outputs. And with the speed of the P2, you can do that. And it all worked out very well. And I really appreciate all of the code you put out there. The code for this is available for anybody that wants it. I have a website, griswoldfx.com. And so that is the thing that semi sort of kind of not really is a money losing thing that kind of helps the hobby. And I do have like these boards available. I don't think I have any available for right now on the site, but the code is all available. And if you guys want to go get it, download it, and wire it up, you can absolutely do that yourself. Everything I do is freely available to anyone that wants to mess with it. Let's see here. I'm veering way off of um, the presentation here, but I know that we're limited on time. So I think what I'm going to try to do, since we've got a little bit of time, I'm going to stop sharing. And I don't know how well this is going to work out, but so this is Jinx that's producing this. I can change it around. Like if we wanted to make fire as the background, we can make fire as the background on this thing. I'm going to show uh, one of the uh, um, one of the sequences that I do for Christmas. I'll play about a minute of audio and just let it synchronize. I don't know how well it's going to look. We'll see. Um, there's a lot more things that typically go with those types of presentations than just what's on the matrix. But we'll give this one a try. This one is a song by The Weeknd, which is apropos. It is Blinding Lights. Let me see if I can tee this guy up and get it to play here. Let's see, do we have that set? Yep. And so it goes through all kinds of different patterns. I've I've been on my own for long enough. Maybe you can show me how to love. Maybe I'm going through a drought. You don't even have to do too much. You can turn me on with just a touch, baby. I'm a city's cold and empty. No one's around to judge me. I can see clearly when you're gone. Oh, or not so. By the lights. So I can sleep until I feel your touch. I said, oh, like this, you're the one lights. Well, that kind of gives you an idea of what goes along with it. Some of the other things that you can do is I have certain props where you can do singing faces and it will lip sync with the sound. Obviously, a lot of it's all very Christmas themed, but it's to the point now where I wind up doing a Halloween show to get everything out, test it, make sure that it's working, and have that out there. So I've got fun Halloween stuff that's kind of neat. One of them is blatantly stolen from the Haunted Mansion from Disney, and it has the whole thing going through with watching out for hitchhiking ghosts, and the kids seem to like that kind of stuff. But yeah, usually that's the first song that I wind up showing whenever or turning on whenever I'm testing everything. So it's like, okay, it's Christmas time. Here comes The Weeknd and the Blinding Lights. um, one thing I was wondering if maybe we could show, maybe not. I was just going to show an up close picture of the controller if we can. Ah, and so this thing right here has 24 outputs. So you can run a whole mess load of pixels with it. It will go into the tens of thousands of pixels is what I configured it to be able to do. It has a couple little displays here. One, it has an SSD 1331 display, and it will give statistics such as the number of packets that it's received. It'll let you know, like right now, it's indicating you see the red. You may be able to see the red on there. Indicates that it's not receiving any data. And you know, it's one of those things where if I turn on Jinx, it will immediately let me know, hey, you've got data. And oh, and I just clicked on. There we go. And so it will also give the IP address. So whenever it gets DHCP, you can just look at the display, know what the IP address is. Other items on here, I spent entirely too much time getting this QR code to display on here. So I wrote a library in Spin so that you can generate QR codes. They're not great QR codes, but it does work. And so if I need to go configure this thing, I take my phone out into the yard, I scan the QR code, and the interface for the controller shows up on the phone. It's just a link that'll take you there. So that's something that was completely fun to put together. So if you guys need, for any reason, a QR code, I have a library that I wrote for it. And it has different screens that are controlled by this rotary encoder. And at some point, I'm going to implement different test menus and things like that. It'll give you like the uptime on the device. Thank you, Chip, for putting the second counter in there. So you can figure out how many months, days, hours, seconds that it's been up from that. And I copied over some C code and turned it into Spin to make it work. That's the other thing is this thing's entirely made using the prop tool. I'm not using any third-party software to write the software for this. It's using the Parallax prop tool. But I am. Yes, I would. I would like to use structures, and I would also like to use the tasks, because those tasks are going to be awesome. I have plans. Being able to make a multi-threaded web server using those tasks, it's the perfect thing to make that happen, because you know at what point you need to swap over and look and see if there's anything else that the web server needs to service. Right now, I'm just using a single TCP socket, which is fine. It works, but you have to fight with the web browsers that want to maintain a consistent connection to it. And if they don't send a request fast enough, I just bat the connection down, and it immediately try to reconnect, and I'll bat it down again, and then it's okay. And the reason you want to do that, and I don't know if any of you ever dealt with the spinneret, you run into problems where once you go to it with one browser, everything's fine. You try to go to it from another browser, you're out of luck. You couldn't hit it with another web browser because another machine had the only socket available. And so having those tasks is going to help a lot with those kinds of problems. And you don't have to have all the bookkeeping needed to do that yourself. It's going to make it easy. So yes, please. Yeah, so you have all that stuff in the nice. Yeah, Stephen highlighted the updated
yeah, and you get both ways. Marco's got it updated, I think, to 51. And if Chip says, "Oh, hey, look at this neat thing I came out with 5 minutes later," then you can always do what I was showing at the end there, where you can use spin tools to call Peanut.
Correct. Yeah.
If you're running in a Windows environment.
No, and the same thing with calling Peanut TS.
Oh yeah, exactly.
No, they both.
Yes.
One of the reasons I haven't upgraded to using PSTS, which is what I want, or Mac is just because my hard drive's full.
Sounds like a real lucky guy.
Right?
Yeah. None of us have been there.
Yeah, the Java kind of concerns me a little bit, but I'm okay with that. Just keeping it up to date. I'm a real, I'm an IT operations guy in my, in the real world, and I patch early and often, except for Propeller tool and some of the other tools that I use. But it's like I have to keep that stuff updated, or I'm just going to be riddled with all kinds of problems trying to clean up machines. But his tool looks super cool. I mean, the tool tips, I want to see that, and I know that they're also doing that with the Visual Studio Code. So
We kind of racing with each other. It's fun. We're also, by the way, we are also talking to each other.
That's good.
I've talked to Marco. We're trying to figure out how to simplify some work and realizing that in many areas it's not possible, but we're talking about similar concepts. And
Right.
so we're sharing ideas back and forth and trying to make sure we don't stray too far
Right.
from our central thought of how we want it to work.
Cool. I guess the only other thing I'd want to mention is like the Ethernet that I have on here. It's the WizNet W6100, and I have those libraries out there available on in my repo. Oh, okay, yeah, Ken's going to show off. I also have boards, and I have those for sale at griswoldfx.com, store.griswoldfx.com. You may have to jump through a few links if you go to the top level to get to it. But I mean, they seem to work pretty good. Real quick, and I don't mean to take so much time. One thing I'm also using that for is I'm into a retro computing project that I'm working on right now with the P2. And so I have, my first computer was a Tandy-Color computer. And I have my Tandy-Color Computer 3, which is my most recent color computer that I've had for 35, 40 years. And I have a P2 plugged into the bus on that thing. And it emulates a serial port. The MOS 6551 serial port. I can open up a terminal program, and it will sit there and give all the registers that the computer is expecting, and go, oh yeah, I've got a serial port. I have an emulation layer beyond that in the P2 that emulates the Hayes modem AT command set. I have that Ethernet connected to it, so I can type ATD space hostname port number, and it will connect out to bulletin boards online across the internet. So here's this old Tandy-Color computer connecting out to bulletin boards across the internet and displaying it. And I'm sitting there like the 12-year-old kid I always wanted to be with that thing. And the P2 just lets you do it. Other things we're going to throw in there on that thing is like SIDCOG. I've already done a demonstration of that where I put the sound of the Commodore 64 on the Tandy-Color computer using SIDCOG and a P2. There's all kinds of just various soft peripherals that you can emulate that are already built for the P2. Just put them in there. It's really kind of cool. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've got. Anybody have any questions? John.
It's on the artistic side, because I have friends who do this.
Let's say your wife, since she seems to direct the operations.
Yeah.
Say, oh, hey, honey, we've got a new song for Christmas.
Oh,
You're gonna take a new song and you're gonna do, what is the process and the time required
okay.
to do that?
Okay, so there's a story with that. For the first I don't know, 10 years we did that. My wife did most of the songs, and she would sequence them in Vixen. And it took 10, 12 hours to get a minimally okay kind of, thing put together. And it's just too much of a time requirement to be able to do that. So we swapped over to X lights. And with X lights, there's a ton of people that go do that, and you can go purchase the sequences. And like that blinding lights one that I just played was a free one. And in the X Light software, you go out, you purchase your sequence or download the sequence. You go purchase the audio that goes along with it, and it will give you a listing of the various fixtures that people have for their display where they created the sequence, and you map them to yours. And the software is smart enough to get it where it's, I mean, it's one of those things to where it's like the first year we did that, we had 20 new songs, and it took me, an afternoon to go through and do the mapping on it. It really kind of opened things up. The trying to do it yourself, I'm not that good. Yeah, I'm not that good. It takes a special skill set, and I don't have that skill set.
Are you using probably Blitzen 3?
I'm using X Lights.
Oh, you are?
Yeah,
When you were trying.
and Vixen 3. So the interesting thing is both Vixen 3 and X Lights can produce the sequence files, and running the whole show at the house is not really a PC. I have a Raspberry Pi that I bought from Parallax. So be sure to get your Parallax Raspberry Pis if you need one. And I just load them on there through the web interface, and that actually has been much more stable than trying to get like a Windows machine to run it. Any other questions? Yes, sir. Huh? Yeah, it absolutely can. Yeah. Let's see. I can probably do it now. If I could see. And there we go. Does that look like me? Or do I need to, is it too bright? But you can kind of see that. There's- there we go. Right. Right.
Did you have it earlier on responding to your voice?
Yes.
We didn't get to see that on the Zoom. So for
Oh,
the Zoom
okay.
recording's sake, if you could put that on before we.
Yeah, let's see here. I can all right. Oh no. Let's see. That is the default software. There we go. All right. And I will put that on the spectrum analyzer. And so yeah, that's and that's all being done in the software here, sending that data across Ethernet to the propeller to display. I mean, and there's just a ton of various different plugins and all kinds of just really inexpensive software available to do this kind of stuff. So you had a question there.
Yeah, we have one Wi-Fi link instead of using that.
Why do you decide to do that Wi-Fi link?
Okay, the only reason I have that one Wi-Fi link is it is so far away from everything else. I would have to run an Ethernet line that would be it would be approximately 500 feet to do that. And it's not so much, could I make it work? Probably. but I wouldn't want to do it as Ethernet because lightning. I'm from Tennessee. We live in the South. It is thunderstorms and humidity all the time. I have had a tornado go through the display, and it was only EF0, but it survived. But lightning, on the other hand, just with all of the long wires involved, it can be a problem. This controller actually got struck by lightning. Or there was a lightning strike nearby, and the power supply that was in here got smoked. Then I learned how to fix switching power supplies really inexpensive. It cost half the price of replacing it from Amazon, but you can do that. And it also took out pixels. So with the big long 500 feet of pixels, after 100 pixels or so, you run into problems with power, and so you have to add power supplies every 100 feet, 200 feet, depending on. Sometimes you can get 200 feet out of it, sometimes you can't. And with all of those long wires, it wound up destroying 2 or 3 pixels right where the power was injected, and I had to do a repair. It was the night before the last show this year that happened to me. So I predict that I'm going to see more of that in the future, just because of the lengths of wire involved. I'll talk about that.
This is being recorded. The wife is going to watch it in YouTube. So
No, I can't even hazard to guess how much it is. I can tell you typically the budget every year. So like you have a going forward budget where it's like, okay, we're buying something new, and it's about $1,000. So it's like, you do that for about 13, 14 years, it gets, or I get, 16 years at this point, it gets big.
Right there.
Let's see here. So this right here with these guys right here, I bought these on Amazon. I bought them on Monday. I put this together like Thursday night. Flew down Friday. I mean, it's this was $200. It's 2,000 pixels. You can't hardly beat that, and just bought it on Amazon. The seed pixels are great just because they're inexpensive, they're durable. I haven't had any fail mechanically. I've only had ones that have been struck by lightning fail. Water intrusion hasn't been a problem with them.
So like 10 cents a pixel.
Yeah. Versus more than that, about twice that for the regular bullet style pixels. But yeah, so there's that, and then so I can't remember how much the board cost. I think I spent $200 and got 20 boards, 25 boards, 30 boards, something like that. It's $12 for the Ethernet, the assembled Ethernet card, which is just, I bought those directly from WizNet, and they plug in,
Less than $500
Yeah.
there with the case.
Oh yeah, yeah. P2, you can get those from Mauser for like $65. Ken didn't hear me good. One of the things that actually was a expensive item on this was I have to fuse each of the outputs. Since they're running all over the place, you can't bunch them up together, and you really don't want more than 5 amps going to any of the fixtures. And I was spending like over $1 for the mounts that would go in there, and I wound up going to AliExpress, and I found those for like 10 cents, so about 1,000 of them. Yeah. All of the plugins that I have, these Phoenix connectors, I bought all those on Amazon. Everything I can buy on Amazon, I do. And so, it's one of those things I have to jump from vendor to vendor with those, but they've all been, really good, and you can get those for, I don't know, what is it? they wind up being, you know, like 50 cents or 25, 50 cents or something like that. Yeah,
Right, yes.
I mean, you know, if I was having to make a industrial product, I would not do that. I would be buying from Mauser. But you know, for a hobby thing like this, it's not a big deal. I have some line drivers that are in there. Those are cents, and I have some resistor networks that are used to for impedance matching the pixels on the output. Those are a few cents. But it's, you know, even the power terminals, I got those on Amazon. You know, it's like a bag of 20 of those, and you know, it's only a few bucks. Yes. I mean, look, you know, for the right price, I'll do almost anything. $20 is $20.
I'll work for picture money.
Right. Any other questions?
Thanks, Terry.
All right. Thanks, guys.